Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, we're talking to a handful of the 48 political parties that are contesting Wednesday's election. They may not have filled stadiums this weekend, but they all reckon they have a good chance of capturing your vote. Who are they, what are they about, and how do they rate their own chances in this election? Themba Godi, you've done this twice already, and I'm sure you're not content with hanging on to that lone seat this time around.
No, very true. As the APC, having absorbed the lessons of the last two elections, we have prepared in time, set up our election machinery right up to the village levels, and we have been doing our campaigning in almost all the provinces. I have visited all the provinces to engage with the people, to show up our forces. And I think the theme around accountability as the basis of ensuring that public resources are used to bring services to our people and to change their lives have resonated very well with the work that we've been doing in Parliament, in the Public Accounts Committee, but also with the work that we're doing with communities, whether it is communities with mines, or it is land claimants, or it is home-based carers, or it is lay councillors, or people who are engaged in government projects like your EPWP, Satentela, and the rest who have come to the APC for assistance. That has given us quite some support base that gives us the confidence that come Wednesday, the performance of the APC is going to be much, much improved because our message has been well received. Yes, we've met people who...
What has been that message? What is your party standing on? How do you distinguish yourselves from the 47 other parties that are contesting this election?
Well, in the first instance, we are Africanist. We promote Africanism. Our people need to have a sense of self, who they are, what they are, where they come from.
Where you come, says the same.
Well, if at that theoretical level is the same, it's not a problem. The more the better, because then the basis is correct. But we are emphasizing on the need to ensure that we have a leadership that is honest, that has integrity, that puts the interests of the people first. And I think the work that we have been doing in Parliament and how we've been assisting communities and particular sections of society, whether you're talking about preschool teachers or you're talking about home-based carers, have given us a head start in terms of not only promising what we'll do, but having things we can point out to, that this is what we have been doing and these are the successes that we have achieved with the people on the ground. So we are confident and all the engagements that we have had right up to today in all the areas, whether it's churches or it's cultural festivities, we have received very, very positive responses.
Mzwanele Manyi, the ATM is contesting elections for the very first time. Was the campaign period everything you thought it would be?
Yeah, no, thank you for the opportunity. And firstly, let's just clean up something. Indeed, when you introduce us as small parties, I think maybe the three are small parties, but we are not a small party. We are a new big party. That's ATM, a values-driven, faith-based organization that is self-funded. The campaign has been very good. Our messages have been very clear because we've been saying to wherever we've been that when we take over government, we are going to be announced on the 11th of May. When we take over government, one of the first priorities we're going to do is to amend the constitution. And we're very clear what are the areas that we're going to look at. The first one is to Africanize this constitution. We actually think it's an embarrassment that South Africa, an African country, will have a constitution that did not consult not even one of the African countries. All countries that were consulted don't include any one country in Africa. So we'll make it Africans what must talk to us. That's the first thing. The second thing, we'll amend Section 25. We think the African National Congress and the EFF combined, they have failed South Africa in terms of them having the required majority to amend Section 25. But as we sit here now, they've done nothing about that. They've just been pushing rhetoric about this matter. So for us as ATM, that's one of our first key priorities, so that the issue of expropriation without compensation is very clear. So we're going to do that. We're also going to amend the South African Reserve Bank mandate. It cannot be that a Reserve Bank that is aloof to the material conditions that are impacting on our people on the ground. So we want to amend that mandate to talk to a whole range of things, including job creation. One of the key things that that Reserve Bank is going to do when we take over, when we've actually nationalized it without compensation, one of the first key things it's going to do is to capitalize a state bank. We want a state bank, and we're clear what this state bank is going to do. It's going to do three things. The first thing is this state bank is going to fund the SMEs. This state bank is going to fund the mortgage bonds so that people can get decent housing at a very low interest. And thirdly, the state bank is also going to fund what we call targeted sectors. These are sectors that are going to be very much pro-job creation, like manufacturing and all that. These are things that we're going to do. We're also, by the way, going to introduce justice-based capital punishment, because for us as ATM, we're saying it cannot be that you have people that keep raping people at will, people that keep killing other people, and they just roam the streets.
You want them
For
hanged?
us, we want to hang them. Sorry?
You want them hanged?
We want them hanged, without a doubt. They must hang because they do not want to respect the values of the victims. So for us as ATM, we're on the side of the victims. We cannot have a state that is on the side of the criminals. We want to have a state that is on the side of the innocent victims.
Let's say there are people who are listening to your message and perhaps have heard it before wherever you've been campaigning. And then, boom, this morning, they wake up to screaming headlines about allegations. The allegation is that you actually some ANC leaders' project. And you met with ANC leaders at Luthuli House, and that's where you were conceived.
Yeah, look, I don't read fiction, so I don't know which fiction did you read today. But in terms of the origins of ATM, they're very clear. We've got a very good tapestry in terms of that. This organization is a prophesied organization. It started with Apostle Ndlovu in his diary. This is all documented. In fact, the original name was ATC, African Transformation Congress, but purely because the IEC said there were too many ACs. You see, for instance, it's one of the AC, African something Congress at the end, African National Congress, Africans I Congress, AIC. So then the IEC is the one that actually started the thing of this name has got too many similarities with others. That's when it changed into ATM. So it became ATM and all that. So it was conceived as a prophecy. Professor Nongunga, in his time, is one guy that started this thing. And when he started it, later he discovered the diary of the other Apostle Ndlovu and all that, and the whole thing gelled together. I'm just summarizing. So this has been an organization that has been conceived in that space. But to conclude on this point, the chap, this Ngulwana guy that has been doing this mess as well with the Mezani Council and whatever, he's not even the SG of that council. That guy is a fake.
But wasn't he with you at the beginning?
Sorry?
At least. Wasn't he with you at the beginning at least?
He was there in the beginning. In fact, I'm glad that you know this, because he was there in the beginning. But today, he says he's only head of ATM on the 16th of April. That just shows how much of a liar that guy is. I'm glad that you know this.
You're saying you're a faith-based organization. I'm keen to know how you differ from the ACDP, for example, because presumably you would have scanned the environment and looked at parties that could well share the same values with you.
I'm glad to ask the question. Their name suggests African Christian Democratic Party. We are not a Christian-only party. We are a faith-based. So for us, the faith is not only Christians. And we are very clear, it's in our founding documents, that is Christians, is everybody, not only Muslims as well, not only other religious faith. We also have traditional herbalists, we also have traditional leaders, we have everybody in us. So issue for us, also in line with our ideology. Our ideology is humanism. So we are there. We're saying there's one race, there's one God. There's one human race, there's one God. So that's a difference. We are a far broader and much more accommodating structure, in my view. We don't have Christian focus only. We've got Christians, no problem, but we've got a lot of others as well, and not as a by the way, but as a strategic intent of the organization.
Well, we're speaking to a handful of political parties that are contesting this year's election. How do they rate their own chances in this election? This program continues in a moment. Don't go away.